Hey everybody, welcome to
Okay.
BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. And today it is an honor and privilege to have the guitarist of Quiet Riot, Mr. Alex Grossi. I'm going to be talking to him about his, I guess, side band he's got going on with James Durbin called Maps to the Hollywood Scars. And I'm going to get some Quiet Riot questions in there because it wouldn't be awesome, we got to get some questions in
Yeah,
there
we
about
can throw
Quiet
a couple in there. I mean, I'm mainly doing Scars press right now, but it's actually Scars is the reason that Durbin ended up in Quiet Riot. It's kind of all kind of intertwined.
I think that's interesting, but James, man, he's a hell of a vocalist, dude.
Oh yeah, he's great. I met James. I met him back in 2011 when he was on American Idol through a mutual friend of ours, and I was blown away. I went to a couple of shows like when he would play out in L.A. and we kind of stayed in touch, kind of drifted apart, and then last October he was doing a residency out here in Las Vegas, where I live, and went to the show, and saw him, and he was, he was doing cover songs and whatnot. And after the show, we jammed a couple tunes at the after party, and exchanged info. I started sending him some instrumental demos that I had done here in my home studio, and he was just sending them back some great lyrics, great melodies, everything. So we decided after about 8 or 9 songs, like, hey, you know what? Let's go in the studio. Let's make a record. So here we are. We recorded about 10 songs. We put 5 out as Maps to the Hollywood Scars, Volume 1, and we're picking and choosing what we're going to do for Volume 2 right now. But it's been great so far. We've got a great response. Really proud of it because it's something James and I did on our own. There was no outside influences or executive producers or anyone kind of telling you what to do based on their pseudo authority.
Is there anything that's impressed you about making this EP or album that you guys have got out or getting ready to put out right now? What's impressed you the most about it, Alex?
Well, you know what? How quickly and organically it came together is really what impressed me the most. I mean, usually these things take a lot of time. I mean, we were writing a song, and then a month later we were mastering it. I mean, he came out to Vegas for a week, and we finished the thing up. It just really flowed very naturally. And usually these types of projects, when they're not forced together, but when they just kind of come together,
right?
There's a lot of growing pains. It just was, it automatically clicked, It was definitely a lot. It was what surprised me most, especially, is how easy it came about, how easy it was,
Producing wise, did you produce this, or, because I know I read something about where this was produced at Danny's place for Who's on?
Yeah, Danny. Okay, Danny the Count counting
right.
cars. Danny the Count Coker.
Right.
Has his counting cars, refinishing place where they shoot the TV show and all that. And then in that same complex, they have a state of the art recording studio because Danny also sings.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So it's just barely ever used. So I was able to block it out for a couple of weeks. So Danny didn't really produce it. He was there. He was hanging out. James and I co-produced it with AJ St. James, who's a local here in Vegas, but he's actually originally from Canada. He's done a lot of big records up in Canada. And he did all the programming. Like we didn't actually use a drummer. We just programmed the drums, which is nice, for this kind of music. And so I would say between me, AJ, and James, that's pretty much the whole band. And then I played bass. And the only outside musician we used other than us was Dizzy Reed of Guns N' Roses, played piano on our first single, Till Death.
Are you guys going to eventually add a drummer or anything like that? Or you want to tour with this?
Well, we've been offered a couple late night TV things we're working out right now, and if that were to come to light, we would have to put a band together. Which I know a million guys in LA that would do that. We already have a couple guys in mind, but right now it's just been the two of us, and the one time we have played live was acoustic. So,
are there any songs off the Hollywood Scars EP that stand out more to you than any that you dig a lot, man?
I like, my 2 favorites are Till Death and Never Ending Ride. Till Death, it's got your classic power ballad, instincts, and sonically it's got that big payoff chorus. But the subject matter to me is it's cool. It's not about your typical lovey-dovey ballad. It's about someone passing, losing someone close to, someone passing away, which I'm sure obviously everybody can relate to.
Right.
And I kind of like it because it's not your typical ballad. And then and Never Ending Ride just I love the way the arrangement of it and sonically the way it came out, the sounds we used in the studio for that song. So I'd say those are my 2 standout tracks, if you will.
What about Dizzy Reed? You mentioned that you guys worked with the keyboardist Dizzy Reed, formerly of Guns N' Roses. How was working with him on this?
No, he's still in Guns N' Roses.
Still with Guns N' Roses.
He's still with them. He's the longest running member next to Axl.
Wow, that's a damn long time.
Yeah, he's been around. No, I know Disney for about 12 years, and all I did was email him the track, and he added his parts to it, and that was it. Really easy, you know. He really took it to a different place musically. He added strings and organ and his signature piano sound. It became a very natural sound. It wasn't like obvious keyboards like Europe or something like that. It was very subdued and classy, you know.
Is there anything that helps you keep your mind fresh and open to new guitar stuff, man? I mean, you're not.
Oh, I'm always looking at new. I'm always looking at the new pedals and the new amps that are coming out. I mean, I've been with Paul Reed's guitars for about 20 years now, but.
Right.
And I use their guitars, and now they have a line of amps now too. So I'm always looking at new gear. I'm always looking at what you see. If you hear a sound on the radio that you like, that has I usually Google the band and find out what gear they're using so I can figure out how to get that sound. Because technology's changing so much. I mean, you can make a record on an iPad now
for sure.
With full-blown Marshall stack sounds and everything. So,
right.
I like to stay on top of it for the most part. But I mean, I keep it pretty simple live, just a couple Marshall stacks, and an electric guitar, and some stomp boxes, and just rock.
That puts me in mind of the movie Spinal Tap. It goes up to 11. This amplifier.
No, mine don't go to 11. No, I usually keep them on 3 or 4.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Oh, yeah. I think I've gone through like 3 or 4 copies of it.
Your guys are finishing up on the second part of this. Is it just about done? Where's that standing at right now?
Is this the volume 1's out right now?
Right. Well, yeah, volume 1
Amazon. Volume 2, I'd say it's about 80% done. Like I said, I'm going to the studio on Wednesday to start picking out tracks and seeing what's what and figure out what we're going to do because timing is everything and. I want one to run its course and then have 2 in the pipeline ready to go. Rather than a lot of bands wait till their album runs its course and then have to write another one in 2 months. You have your whole life to write your first album and you have 6 months to write your second album.
That's about true.
So
that's very true.
It's very true, and a lot of people don't realize it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: you've been in the business for a long time, and now EPs are starting to come about a lot more. Do you guys like doing the EP route instead of doing the full length, or what's your take?
You know what? I'll tell you why. Because most people, almost all people, are buying their music digitally now, like iTunes, Amazon, whatnot, and you can sort of cherry pick what songs you want. Like back in the day, if you wanted, Welcome to the Jungle, you had to buy Appetite for Destruction. You had to buy out the whole thing, or unless you bought the single. But most people bought albums. Nowadays, people buy like song 2, track 4, and track 11. And they buy those 3 songs. So I like to put out quality rather than quantity because a lot of bands will put 2 or 3 good songs out there that are a bunch of crap to fill the record up and call it a quote full-length record. And I'd rather put out 3 or 4 really good songs that I'm happy with that I think other people would be than to just sell them filler. And now that iTunes, if you just buy 3 out of 10 songs if you want, why put out less of a quality thing and take your time and make better stuff and put it out in different increments,
True. Yeah.
And also people's attention spans are a lot shorter nowadays.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Yeah. And, a lot of bands like to do it DIY. They don't want a producer. They want to do it themselves. They don't want a time constraint or anything like that. I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. It's just everything's changing a lot in the industry. So people are really, a lot of bands are adapting to it, and I think the EP things are definitely a smart way to go. I definitely would advise that for newer bands too. So you're also spending a bunch of money making most of the time a record has 2 or 3 songs, if you're lucky, and the rest of it's filler. So if you're going to put your best foot forward, as they say,
What has adding James with you on this? What has he added to this?
Well, this was done literally. I wrote pretty much all the music, and he wrote all the lyrics. I handed him a 4-minute song with no melodies, no lyrics, nothing whatsoever, blank canvas, and he went for it. So he actually he's the yin to the yang kind of thing, It's not like we would sit there and fight over chord changes and lyrics. We would just, here you go, I came up with this, and he would just, dump it into his Pro Tools and then send it back as is, but with his stamp on it, And because there's an age difference between the 2 of us too, we bring in different influences, which makes a difference in the sound too,
What does Maps to the Hollywood Scars bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now, man?
As of right now, I would say, what does it bring to the table? I mean, well, there's not a lot of real rock and roll out there right now. I mean, there's older bands that have had a resurgence that are always going to do well. But as far as it's just straight up rock. I don't think it's really bringing anything. We're not reinventing the wheel here. But it's bringing back an attitude and spirit that I think has kind of been lost. And it's not about necessarily reflected in the music. It's reflected in the project itself. It's like, we're just doing it. If it happens, cool. If it doesn't happen, cool. We're responsible for the good and the bad. It's not like we're, there's a gun to our head to sell 1 million records. It's just, hey, let's just do it. I think that comes across, if you hang around us, it's just like everyone's relaxed and chill. Everyone's very chill. No one's, there's no ego. There's no, it's just very easy, It's been a big pleasure working this way instead of some other ways I worked in the past.
What made you want to become a musician, Alex? What was that spark for you that said that's what I want to do?
Well, I mean, I got my first records or I should say tapes, when I was about 12 or 13. And my first concert was Poison and Slaughter.
Oh,
and
nice.
I saw it was sold out and 80% women in the audience. And I said, I think I could do this for a living. I'm not gonna lie and have some lofty reason why I started playing music. No, it's I found on a Poison concert. Next thing I know, I had a paper route. Next thing I know, I had a guitar. There you have it.
You guys have dubbed James Durbin as Quiet Riot's new lead vocalist, man.
A couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
How's that going so far? I know you guys just did a show.
We just did our first show last weekend, and it's literally gone viral already. So if you go on the internet anywhere, you'll be able to see it. Go to Blabbermouth or any of those rock websites. They have all the YouTubes of it, or Facebook videos or whatever they are. And he did great. I mean, we did 2 rehearsals. He came out of the gate swinging, and he knocked it out of the park. It was great. I have no complaints at all. And he's such a nice guy. We all get along with him, so there's no issue at all.
I just like to say this, man. Quiet Riot is you can't talk metal without having, and I think you guys are one of the most iconic bands out there. For Quiet Riot, honestly, you can't talk metal without mentioning you guys. There's no way.
Right.
And what Kevin DeBro and you guys done, man, is just awesome. And as a fan, thank you guys, and plus what you're doing with Maps to the Hollywood Scars, it's pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, no, it's I'm just happy to play music for a living. I'm very happy to be doing that. And I have been doing it for almost 22 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. And it's nice to be appreciated for playing rock and roll. I mean, it's so the more time goes on, the more God, I can't think of how many people died last year. It makes you think like, man, David Bowie and Lemmy and Prince, and you're going, geez. Leave as much art behind while you can, when you can, because our bodies aren't built to last forever, but music is. It'll always be there as long as it's preserved somehow.
Chuck Berry the other day.
Chuck. Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, it happened just so recently. I hadn't even thought about it.
I'm sure you guys get this, and I'm sure you get this personally as well. But what's it mean to you when you receive an email from a fan, or prior to the shows or after the shows? They'll come tell you that the music has pulled them through a tough time, or inspiration to overcome obstacles, or it's just made them to relax of the everyday bullshit that we go through. What's that mean to you?
No, it makes me feel great. It makes me feel like there's something, there's a purpose to what we're doing, I mean, people come to the shows, whether it's Quiet Riot or any other bands I play in, if it's rock and roll, they're there for an escape from reality. They're there to have fun, drink some beers, jump around, flip their hair around, and have a good time with their friends. I mean, it's a relief to bring people pleasure, I mean, it's kind of like my mom said when she was a kid. She worked at a candy store, and she said, it was the best job in the world because nobody was ever in a bad mood. No one's ever in a bad mood buying candy, She worked the counter, and she said, I never dealt with any angry customers or people mad or stressed or in a hurry. They're buying candy, and it's kind of like that. It's like, my job, I get to go play for people that are there to have a good time. They're in that mindset already,
Alex, how can people stay in touch with you guys? Buy this new EP that's out right now.
Yes, it's on iTunes, Amazon, Maps to the Hollywood Scars, not stars, scars with a C. Go get it. And we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. And definitely check it out. And I can't say we're going to be in a town near you, but I know that Quiet Riot will be. So just go to quietriot.band. And also another thing to check out is that we have a Quiet Riot movie out now. It's a documentary that was on Showtime for the past couple of years, and it's now available online. And that's quietriotmovie.com, and that'll kind of clue you in as to what brought us to this point where we're at now. These last 5 or 6 years, and then all the way back to the beginning of the band. It's pretty cool.
Good sir, before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Yeah, what do I have to say? Hey, this is Alex Grossi from Quiet Riot and Maps to the Hollywood Scars, and you are listening to BODS Metal Mayhem. Turn it up.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.